Welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Thank you very much for your time. We are working on the Sugaridoo Quilt Along from 2019, and this is part 4, row 9. Feels like we're playing like fabric bingo on there or something. I like it. So you have some templates to print out. The link to get the free pattern section will be listed below, so make sure you click on that if you want to start. It's not too late to start. We're just having a good time. We're trying to do one of these a week. She was doing one of them a month. So and we're just busting our stash. So this one has green triangles, and mine are all texture, like patterned fabric. I'm trying to use as much patterned fabric as I have and can. Sorry. So what you have to do is when you go and you download your templates, you're going to get one for either side. Like this is me traced out on this one, but it's pretty much exactly the way this is right here. And we have to cut it up after we get our tracings done that we need after. Then we use these as templates for our cuttings for our material, okay? So as you can see, that's why this one is in a bit of a puzzle. I could have printed another one off, but I didn't feel like wasting the paper or the ink. So this one, once you get your templates all traced out, and you're gonna need one of template A, one of template D, and then when it comes to the B's and the C's, those are the full triangles that you're flipping and flopping to make this nice, beautiful row. You're gonna need 5 B's and 4 C's. So make sure you trace out enough of that. I thought I had, and I realized I was too short. So I was like, oh no, I gotta go back and do that. So we have a B that we're putting together right here, right now. And then of course our background fabric, which is gonna go in the center of B1. That is just pinned there right now. And I've tried to give it myself where it comes to B2, a 1/4 of an inch-ish around here to play with so we can sew on our first bit of fabric, okay? So we're gonna pin to the one side, but we're gonna sew on this side that has all the writing, and we're gonna follow that. So this is a foundation paper piecing project. You could use fabric for this. You could use different types of stabilizers. She's got some material that she sells at Sugaridoo. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check that out. She's quite the loveliest artist, let me tell you. She's very talented. And I'm happy to be doing this project for sure, busting my own stash and seeing what I can make, right? So we're just going to get plugging away along here. Once you get all your templates traced out, okay? And then you're going to use these as your paper templates to make sure you have enough material to work that piece. You can cut a little, I wouldn't cut on the angles either. I just keep them nice and straight because you're gonna end up flipping this, and you wanna make sure you're flipping it the right way. Of course, this works a lot easier if you're using solids because it doesn't really matter, but I'm using all sorts of beautiful patterns here, and just making sure that each piece has its own strip. So here, and make sure it's plenty. You got plenty on either side, okay? And then this one here. So what we're doing is we're making a fabric representation of what we have already paper cut, right? Okay. And then we've got some other lovely shimmer green fabric with lots of different greens and mixtures of greens. And then same on this one too. It's got light green, dark green, and then it goes even to a nice bright green down over on this side too. So yeah, it's lovely. I'm loving it. So I used 3 colors. I used 3 colors for this. I was trying to find enough that I could do with all my scrappy bits, and I just couldn't. It was just going to be a little looking too crazy. So I thought if I just stuck with 3, some lights and some darks, and then, you know, just had some fun. That was the whole point. All right, so now I have my one piece, the one that goes in the center. Okay. I know it says C here, but it's the same shape-ish for B. So we'll just move those off to the side. Okay. And then we want to take it and flip this over, and then take our fabric that we're using to represent that B2 or C2 or whatever spot that you need to do, and we're going to place it, and hopefully when flipped it's going to cover that section, and it should without a problem. And if you help set up your bottom triangle here where you're only giving yourself 1/4 of an inch to sew to, then you're setting yourself up good already. Or if you can't do that or don't want to do that, you can fold down the line, trim, or move up so you know what's right there, and then you can measure it out, and then you can go from there. Okay, be easy. Just make sure you got equal on both sides. Okay, sometimes it's hard to see depending on the fabric you're using. Okay, so, and you want to make sure this gets pushed out far away, so when you stitch on this line, you're not going to hit your pin. Okay, all right, so we got thread in our machine, and we're going to use a smaller stitch. Like, we're going to go like, I don't know, anywhere between 1.8 and like 2. You could even probably go a little bit lower than 1.8, but it just helps when you're trying to rip the papers off, if you want to. I mean, I would want on this because I'm using parchment paper, not freezer paper. I couldn't find any here, so I don't know whether it's more of an American, or I can find it anywhere. So, and we just don't carry it up here at the moment. Sorry about that. That one got missed. That one got missed. Okay, and then once you have it, so you've sewn on that line, you can take your pin out, take your fabric, fold it down and over. Okay, and then this is where it becomes, you know, folding fun sort of thing. So now we've done the B2. We're fine with having this part hang over. That's no big at all. That's just going to go to the scrappy pile. So when we want to go do this, the next line is we got to go over here to 3. So we want to make sure that we are going to fold this on the line. Now you can use a piece of card or even a nice little sharp ruler. I'm just going to fold it there. And then you can come in with your little 1/4 inch ruler if you got one of those, or just use one of your regular rulers, and then make sure you put your 1/4 inch right on the edge of the line. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, get that right in the center there. So you can see the line right there, and then we're going to move our ruler up. So we're not cutting the paper, we're cutting the fabric, but we're also giving ourselves the seam allowance for the next set. Okay, all right, and we have some place to sew. All right, so move those off to there, and then we're going to fold this back, okay, and we're going to go take our 3 piece, which should be smaller than the longer piece, yes, right here, and we're going to lay that right there, okay. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful green fabric, and we want to make sure it's covering. Like the triangle, you can see the shadow effect is right about here, or the line from the other side you can see is right there. So we want to make sure we're covering that whole strip. That without a doubt, we're making sure we're covering that spot. Okay, so we can just finger press that down, put a little pin, oops, preferably through both pieces, the fabric and the template. There we go. Put a pin there. And since we know we're on the line of the 1/4 inch, we know we could just line it right up with the black. Okay, put right there. I don't know what that was. Hope it was nothing I needed. All right, and then we're going to sew, oops, on the other side. Always, that's got me a couple times. Then we're going to sew all the way across, and even just go where you have your seam allowance. You can see where there's the first line and the second line. That second line is your seam allowance. Between those two is your seam allowance to sew from one block to the next. Okay, so you need that. This is very key and essential. So if you want, you can just cut your template with a 1/4 inch. Add it onto it all the way around. I add it visually so I don't forget, because I'd be one of those people that go, why is this row smaller? Because I didn't do it right. So I always try to trace everything out that's necessary for the project so I don't get confused. Because this happened before. And I'm just stopping right on the line. Okay. And again, taking it. We can see how it's all stitched all right there, and we're going to take it and we're going to flip it over. We're going to unpin it, and we're going to flip this back. Give it a nice finger press, and that's how we get those beautiful, precise points for this gorgeous triangle project. Okay, so you can see how we've got some dangly feet right here. We want to go and flip it this way, and we're going to fold it right on this line right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. okay? I'm trying to give you the best shot of this. And then even though we've sewn through a little bit of the template over there, that's okay. We can just pops right out. The stitches pops right out. So you could, like I said, you fold it right down. I'm pretty confident in my folding skills. Okay. And then this is where you're going to come up with your ruler and trim all this up. Make sure these are sticking out. I did this once and one of these was flipped back and I was like, uh-oh. So I trimmed it there and I'm like, well, that doesn't fit at all. So just note to self, make sure your little tails for your bottom of your sides of your triangle are flipped out. So now we're just going to go take it over and trim it. And then we'll line up our other piece of paper, our piece of fabric, piece of paper. You know what that means. Okay. Take that, flip back. Take our little green piece of fabric, lay it over here. Make sure you got plenty on either side, so when flipped down, it's going to cover that whole template. I'd rather have too much than too little, because then you just feel like you're wasting fabric. Okay. All right, let's grab a couple little pins. What did I do with the other ones over there? Hold it into place. You could probably do a little press in between if you wanted to. I was saving the pressing for afterwards. It was as long as I felt like things were nice and flat and they were sitting okay, then, I mean, the other ones turned out just fine. So this is a little time consuming, so you got to give yourself several hours to work on these projects, whether to be, you know, picking your material and then you know, getting your templates all traced out. So, okay, and again, we're just sewing on the line. Keeping our fabric nice and straight, going all the way down. Okay. And then we're going to want to fold on this line as well. We might as well while we're here, because once we fold that fabric out, we're going to trim it. Okay, so let's fold on that line. And then this section here, this big section here, is black, which is our background fabric. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's take this over here, flip it up. Finger press it out. Okay. Press that. Line this up. Trim the extra off, and then that's where we lay our background chunk. Okay. And this was the last piece I need, a big chunk I needed of this, so I just grabbed a big one. So the other ones were smaller, so, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to pin a couple spots here, making sure we're not going to get anywhere close to where the seam allowance is going to be, or that we get our pins stuck up underneath the bottom of our machine or anything like that. Okay, so okay, and then we're going to take it and flip it and sew all the way down that last line. And you do this for all the templates. Okay. And then I have 2 to trim up, and then we'll sew them together, and then that's my roll. So excited. And the accent fabric goes on the end on this color. And I think I've been okay with the ones I've done so far for the accent color. So, like I said, if not, it's unique, it's mine. There we go, and we'll flip that down. Okay. And then that is our template before trim out. Okay, so we're going to press that before we trim it out, okay? So let's move over here. My goggles out of the way. Give this a quick little pressing. Be right back. I know I'm probably out of screen. And then we're going to give it a trim. And I've already got another one, which is one of the end pieces here, because you got your nice your nice flat edge, sorry. And then this lines up with actually it lines up with this piece. I think it goes this way, but we'll see in a moment. Okay, let's move this out of the ways and do some trimming. Okay, so when you trim, you could either do this by scissors or rotary. And I do it by rotary, but I do give it a little trim around the corner either by scissors or whether I'm going this way. And you just come on and cut all the way through. Put your ruler on the line and just do the straight cuts. You can worry about the curvatures after the corner curves. Okay. Make sure all your fabric is pressed all the way out. Okay. There. Be confident with your cutting, and I would always suggest standing above your project if you can. Okay. And then these will go off to the pile. Okay. And then here you got some couple of little rounded corners, which does make a meeting up from one square or one triangle block to the next much easier. Okay. So let's trim this one up now here too. Okay. Because we need to attach this one as well. And that's why it's a good thing to press just before you are trimming, so you get everything nice and flat that you want on the sides, and then you're flipping over to trim. Okay, all right. And then this little snip and snip. Trust me, it makes it a whole lot easier. Okay. Get all that out of the way. Now, I'm going to take, see, this is how these two go together. That's our other piece. That's the other half with our accent fabric there, okay? So you just kind of line them right up on top of each other and then pin them, okay? So let's add these two first to this one, okay? So this one's going to go here because it is a B. It's the last before this one here and there, okay? Lovely. Looks amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we line them up. One corner or one edge to the next. Pop a pin. And then sew on down. Okay. And then this will get attached to there. Well, to there. Okay, but we'll do the other one first. Okay. Okay, that out. Attach the other one. Go back to here. A little finger press on that one. Look how beautiful those corners are. Lovely. All right, then we'll flip this way. Do the same thing. And then we just have to attach our other last little one of our other row. Well, not a row, but our sequence, I guess. Pattern blocks. Okay. All right. And once you get your mind around sewing on one side and flipping to the other to place and so on and so on, it really is quite fun. It really is. Okay, so there is that section. I'm going to press it flat, and then we're going to sew these two sections together, okay? Beautiful. Okay. And then that is our whole row done. Okay. Get that out of the way. I'm trying to fight for space. Here and here. Okay, there we go. Last seam of our row. I'm so excited, yo. I really am. We got oranges next week, which is like chevrons, and they look amazing. So I don't know. I know I have some orange, but not a lot, so I may have to be mixing some colors there. I might be using a little bit of yellow and orange together or something to make that one happen. So I'm excited, though. I'm excited, like the challenge. All right, here we go, peeps. My peoples. My lovely peoples. Okay. Oh, wow. That looks awesome. There we go. That looks so good. I'm excited. Look at that beautiful color. I tried to balance it out. I think I did okay. I think I did okay with the balancing. Then the light and the medium and then mixture, and then this one's got a little bit of mix and mix, so awesome, 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 awesome. So that is part 4, row 9 of the Sugaridoo Quilt Along from 2019. I'm having a blast busting my stash and doing it with this lovely black background, and I think it's just gonna look so stunning. We've got 3 other rows here behind us. There's my orange and my pink and my blue, and then we got another orange section coming up. Like I said, I'm gonna have to probably mix and match that a little bit, so stay tuned, see how that one turns out. All right, take care everybody. Thank you very much for your time. Big hugs to you, and hope you're having a fantastic day. See you soon.